Neverness to Everness, or NTE for short, has had its third beta now. So, what's changed at this point? I actually made a review video back in late 2024 after the first beta, but there's been a lot of updated and straight up new content to talk about. So let's get into it. Let's start out with the combat. To give a brief overview, you have a team of 4 and can swap between characters, though actions will be cancelled for the most part upon swapping. Characters have basic and heavy attacks, skills, and ultimates, and when filling up an energy resource completely, they can swap to another character and trigger an additional attack via the incoming character's support skill. Additionally, elements can trigger reactions, with each element not only being able to react with 2 individual elements for additional effects, but also 2 elements at the same time. The dual element reactions are a lot more generic, mostly being damage buffs, with the tri-element reactions having unique effects such as gaining additional ultimate energy. This leads to having more open-ended team building that promotes a mix and match of elements. In my initial video, I mentioned that the combat was one of the more underwhelming features of the game. Fast forward to today, I noticed a lot of the animations feel snappier, with a lot of the characters' animation sequences being completely changed. They also added an enhanced attack on dodge that actually feels very nice to use, as it has a very long range with its added movement. There is also a parry system where enemies have a big red circle when they are interruptible by attacks. But one thing I disagree with is being able to trigger parries on basic attacks. I don't think it necessarily feels good or rewarding when you accidentally trigger a parry just by spam attacking, which you're probably doing anyways. Regarding character kits, there is a good amount of variation for what's out there. There are simpler characters like Mint, who just has attacks that do damage, and a skill that does damage, and an ultimate that also does damage, with no special effects or interactions. Compare that to Daffodil, who has a special dodge that lets her avoid attacks without interrupting her basic attack sequence, as well as a resource that stacks upon teammate support skills, which enhances the damage of her own skill when used. For a moment, I chalked this up to the difference between A-rank and S-rank character, but just look at this A-rank Doggles kit. He's got a freaking essay up in there. Now, I typically consider combat as one of the most important features in these open world gacha games, as that's what we're pulling characters for, right? Or maybe we're just pulling for skins. Yeah, there's a lot of skins in this game, most of which are obtainable for in-game currency. But of course, the limited character has a limited skin. But back on topic. I think NTE's open world is one of its stronger features. The map is pretty massive and seamless, and there are a lot of little details to make the world more interesting. It wouldn't be too inaccurate to call it kind of an anime city life game, more than a typical gacha. You can drive around and complete deliveries, manage a store, fish, and decorate your home. But be careful. If you're a menace to society, the police will come after you and take you away. I spent some time in the slammer, not because I drove bad or anything. I was testing it on purpose for content. And turns out that they actually have a fleshed out jail system. You have to serve a sentence with the option of paying to leave early, doing prison work such as cleaning walls.
This sucks! They gave me the dinkiest water, the freaking dinkiest super soaker out here.
Or you can also just escape. There's also a multiplayer system where you can let other people drive your cars, play mini games at the arcade, mahjong at the maid cafe, etc. But this isn't all without some very strange happenings around the city. Anomalies exist and must be investigated, with these ranging from standard boss fights, rhythm game fights, or puzzles. And these puzzles actually require some thinking, and dare I say it, reading for some of them. And these puzzles can be quite trippy. In one such commission, I had to solve a puzzle in a spooky school while being chased by shadows that only move toward you when you aren't looking at them. Yeah, I didn't know this was like a horror game, but there definitely are horror elements. I also played a multiplayer dungeon which took place in an eerie hospital, where we were being stalked by a mysterious monster, and had to piece together clues in order to progress and figure out what the heck was going on. Now, there's a large variety of content in this game, and there's definitely still some rough edges here and there, but it's come a long way since the first beta and is shaping up quite well. I'm definitely keeping my eye on this one. Pre-registrations are also open, so you can use the link in the description if you're interested in that. See you guys next time. Bye bye!